Welcome to Mesa TV. So, my little experience of a little mini vacation of cat sitting ended up in a little turmoil for myself, but life goes on and things are on the way of getting better. Uh, Life is not what I thought it was. When my wallet was gone and my bank account was being drained, and my ID and all my passes and all my health stuff and whatnot and pictures, and I thought that was the end of my world. Well, let me tell you, back when I was 19, living in Hartford, Connecticut, uh, I experienced, again, I was at that point, I was beaten up, pushed to the ground, broken glasses, uh, stolen wallet. And at that time, I really had my life in my wallet because I was new to the country. And I had my temporary visa, temporary work permit, temporary this, temporary that. So I was actually going to look for a job and walking through the park, walking along the road, and the thugs beat me up. And yeah, it's Hartford. It's Hartford, Connecticut. You know what kind of thugs I'm talking about. So my life fell apart. It was a pretty long, trying period to get everything back. So that was what 89, 90. I don't know, way back when. Well, cut to today, I suffered the same. At the time, I didn't feel anything because I was young. I didn't feel violated. I didn't feel the loss. I didn't feel upset. I didn't feel anything. I was just like, it's just par for the course because guess what? It's my life, right? I'm not surprised. But when it happened uh, again this weekend, I went through the emotions that were not befitting the current story. So what I was doing was I was actually reliving what I felt back then, which I didn't allow myself to experience. So when the same thing happened again, I immediately felt, oh, my life is in that wallet. And it triggered the same response I could have had when I thought my life was really in that wallet at the time. So I began to shake, I began to cry, I felt like the world was ending, I wanted to commit suicide. I mean, I went through all these tumultuous emotions right there and then, the moment I discovered, there goes my bank account, there goes my wallet. I ran in a frenzy, searching the grounds, going crazy at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Um, and then I came home and I had my panic attack, and it was severe, and it lasted a while. And then by Sunday, I made the connection that, oh, well, this isn't, uh, you know, I had already made the report and I had already started getting my stuff together and going online and getting all my stuff together and trying to making phone calls and getting back my cards. Yeah, I was capable. I realized I'm capable of getting into action. So I was like, what was all that drama about? Why am I crying and shaking and acting like I was just fucking abused for some reason? And suddenly I remembered, which I had forgotten. I remembered the assault back in the day, and I remember not feeling anything, but now the trigger made me reenact that feeling. And man, back in the day, I was all about survival. I was in survival mode, so I didn't really allow myself to feel anything. The only thing I ever felt was anger and sadness, and that went on for many, many years throughout my 20s and 30s, and as I got some help along the way. But yeah, so this weekend when I had that similar feeling, I had to ask myself, overall, I think the drama was not appropriate to the scenario. Yeah, I lost my wallet, but we're not back in the day. We're not in the late 80s. And things are done much faster. And it woke me up to the world a little bit because I was like, oh, woe is me, it's gonna be a bitch to get everything, and it's gonna be horrible, and they're gonna use my ID for malfeasance, and they already drained my account, and yeah, yeah. I just went to worry, and then I started to calm down, and I realized, hey, I did the stuff that was necessary to ensure my future survival. There was nothing more to be worried about. I was very concerned about my ID and all that kind of stuff. And it turned out that the process of getting all my documents back has been quite easy. And I was very amazed at today's world. And that goes to show you how deep and hidden I was in my own bubble. My depression from 2015 onwards is like kind of like I didn't leave, I didn't get out of my house that often. Things happen along the years, of course, uh, but waking up to a whole new world and the things don't work the way you thought they did. It's nice. I feel less nervous and less scared. I used to be very scared of being older and not really fully interacting with the world, and it was just kind of like drifting past, getting more and more advanced, and I'm falling behind. It was very scary last year. You know, um, so when my cat died, and I had my near-death experience, and I got therapy. I started seeing a counselor. Yeah, I started to get back into the world, and you know, it's an experience. I thought I was gonna die because I was left behind in a way. I was like, what's my life gonna be? Why did I die in 2025 in the near death experience? Why didn't I just die? Because I don't think I'm capable of dealing with the world as it is today. I certainly don't understand it, and I know that I have old ways that don't coincide with the new generation, and it's been a trial trying to deal with the younger people, uh, particularly the young person in my life, and it always makes me aware of how backwoods I am in my thinking. And, it calls me names, and it makes me face truths that I don't like, and I don't. Uh, but if I'm going to survive in the world, I guess I have to change. I have a lifetime of experience that makes me believe certain stereotypes about people in general, and I adhere to those. And I don't go outside the bubble to find difference. I don't explore anything different than a stereotype unless you're one on one with me. But as a group, I don't care to know you more. And those are things I'm facing now in my older years. Some questions about what kind of person am I, and who I thought I was isn't really who I thought I was. I say I'm a good person. I'm a great person. I'm not this and I'm not that, and I have reasons for being. And I'm beginning to feel like those aren't enough in a new paradigm. It's like, yeah, but they're not serving you anymore because you want to grow as a person, as a soul, and you can't inhabit the same beliefs that you once did. You can't, I guess, go along looking at the world like you did when you were a kid. Somewhere along the line, I got stunted and I stopped looking at the world. All I did was live in my head. And long, 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 many, many decades, literally. Now and again, I'd get out because I have to survive, but I live in my head every chance I get. And so my behaviors kind of remain the same, although I thought, oh, I'm changing, I'm changing. Yeah, superficially, sometimes I've changed some of the ways I think, and I changed some of my behavior, and I changed how I look at the world, but I haven't really changed some deep conditioned beliefs. And I'm talking conditioned by my society I grew up in and also conditioned by my religion. Uh, it's I applaud anybody that likes to think outside those boxes or even could know that they could think beyond that. When I first started thinking that I could think beyond that, so let's take religion, for example. When I started thinking, oh my God, I'm questioning everything that I believe in religions because it's not serving me. It's making me a hypocrite. And actually, I'm an evil person. Uh, and also, it's preventing me from living my life, discovering that, hey, I might be gay. I am gay. And all the things that they did to keep me down from that. It fucked up my life for many decades. I just turned 55, and I finally feel free to be myself. And my Mesa TV is helping me with that. I lost a lot of weight recently, and I feel like a human being. I kind of I feel I have a sexuality. I feel like I want to show it. I don't feel afraid. I discovered a whole community of people like me. I mean, this is what I mean by popping out my bubble to see what's out there in life because I've been afraid. I mean, literally terrified of living because I get hurt a lot and I was tired of being hurt. So I took a break from living, surviving. My first, most of my life was survival, 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 you know. And then finally, at this age, I have a chance to reflect and relax and trust that God, aka the universe, has my back. And I've been doing that more and more. And I'm feeling secure. And this last event with my wallet showed me that my back, that it has my back. Uh, that what I thought was most terrifying really wasn't that terrifying after all. That I was more in control than I was when I was 19, and that I'm capable of getting my life back together. All right. I wanted to let everybody know that I'm better than I was on Saturday when I was very upset, going through past emotions. That's what PTSD is. You have a loop in your brain of certain events and you can't stop it, and then you feel it and it goes through it. It could be triggered for any reason, even if you're feeling happy. It just gets triggered and you suddenly go into a state of reliving something. Call it flashbacks, whatever. It captures your whole head, it captures your body emotions, and it takes you out of reality. And it gets confusing because you have to learn. Now I'm getting the hang of it. I'm learning how much is past embodiment of emotions from the past that gets triggered and reveals itself inappropriately, and how much of my emotions do I need to dedicate to the current scenario. So I'm learning to weed myself away from the backlog of emotions that wants to be expressed, uh, which I have to allow. But I try to gain control by saying, well, I understand what's happening here with my body and my mind, but it's not really appropriate to the current situation. So, can we cut back a little? Can we draw back? Now, who am I talking to? I'm usually talking to I call the embodiment of that past emotion. I'm talking to an aspect of my earlier self that is stuck, and therefore they all want to be heard. All these past emotions that I've never expressed all want to be heard. They lie dormant until they're triggered. That's what PTSD. When they're triggered, they make noise in my head. They don't talk to me. I don't hear voices saying, "Oh, help me." No, that was in my 20s. Today, they talk to me by reliving loops and loops of scenes in my life that caused trauma or caused me a lot of painful heartache. And those are the aspects that couldn't be expressed and couldn't get over the stuff. Through therapy, I had to go back and face a lot of hard stuff in my life. And working it out, some aspects got cleansed and they were able to blend into my current persona so I could live a little better and we can all grow together. But there's still a lot of young ones in there. Now, I'm not talking about split personality. I'm calling them aspects, personas that I call personas or aspects. Uh, the only vitality they have is the emotion of the moment. They're not really real. They're stuck emotions that develop. Uh, I don't want to use the word consciousness, but yeah, they develop a self, a thing. They develop a being of themselves, but only within the bounds of the emotion that it's feeling. Okay, and it will call to you all the time whenever it's triggered. I spent a lifetime trying to not get triggered, which meant getting high, avoiding people, locking myself away, not getting triggered by anything. But I start to live life again. I'm getting triggered left and right. So after while COVID was going on, and I had COVID, I had also stopped my meds, and I was on Zoloft for many years, and that had me in a la la land. I literally couldn't care less. I mean, really. And after my brother died, I was like very disturbed that I couldn't care less. I knew I felt some, but I felt nothing, literally. And I took myself off the Zoloft, started to ease off. I didn't just cut it off, I eased off. And then it came a point where I had to deal with the onslaught of emotions once again. They came back. It came back. I mean, for years, I didn't feel these stuff. And so they didn't have a chance to grow. They didn't have it. I didn't have a chance to get used to them and how to tolerate them and grow with them. So when they all rushed back in 2020, 2022, once again I faced near death with COVID, and emotions were coming back, and all I did was cry. I cried for a couple of years straight, just crying, crying, crying. Anything could trigger crying, crying, crying. Anger, just all the emotions that Zoloft had stifled in order for me to survive in life were back. And I had not had the chance to learn to tolerate them. So I was going crazy with overload. Everything was overload. I watch a commercial with a puppy and I'm bawling. Somebody's crying, I'm crying too. I don't even know why. Get outrage at everything, outrage at the world that I'm seeing. Uh, it was so tumultuous. Um, so after I had the physical therapy, recovering from the COVID, yeah, I couldn't even walk and shit. I was bedridden in my own house alone 4 months of COVID. Right after the fire, mind you, there was a fire right before I had COVID, which displaced me from my building. I had to live in a hotel for a bit. It was horrible. Uh, it was all very sad. It was just a sad, sad time. And I faced my mortality once again. And had to make some changes after that. So I spoke to a psychiatrist and I got back on some new meds, Cymbalta, and I'm on the lowest dose. And recently I said I have to go up because I'm still panicking and I'm still having panic attacks and my stomach is in knots and I'm just getting outraged and emotions are not manageable. Uh, and I can't control things. I don't like it. So I went up and they've been working. And tomorrow I'm gonna talk to a psychiatrist. I want to go up some more. Okay, why just feel eh? Why not feel yeah? I have to watch it because that's what I did with the Zoloft. I kept loving it, going up, up and more. The less I was in the world, the better I felt. But now that I challenge myself to face all my emotions, and I'm working on it. I don't want to go back to a state of blank, because when I come down from that, eventually I'll have all the emotions has to catch up, and I'll go into a state of turmoil. So this point in my life, I decided I'm going to live, but not hide. I'm going to experience the emotions, not run away from it. I'm going to figure out where they're coming from rather than tell them to be silent. Uh, it's going to be a tough battle, but I have a lot of therapy under my belt. I have a lot of knowledge up in my head about me and how to manage me. And once the medication helps with the fear, and once the fear is not there, I pretty much can do anything. And this point in my life, I'm choosing to continue to work on myself. There's the physical aspect with the weight loss, there's the diabetes, there's all the health matters, there's the rotator cuff and all that kind of shit. There's the chronic pain that I live in every day. There's all that shit. That's just living. Yeah, let me tell you, once you hit 45, yeah, everything starts to break down. Don't think it's going to get better ever. I don't care how healthy you think you are. That's our warranty. We got 40 years of good life, and maybe some of you who are healthier might have a little better chance, but everything starts to break. All right, that's just a tangent. So I said a lot. Been a survivor all my life. I just never recognize it. I've lived in survival mode so long that I don't know any other way of living. And living this other way, introspective, reflective way, is also challenging. And also, I have to accept that I'm not in my 20s. I can't do the things I used to do. I don't want to do all the things I used to do. I can't go backwards. I don't look the same. I don't feel the same. I have to accept that life is not the same. You know, from my 20s to my 50s, in between was time taken off to breathe, to learn. And I did. And now I'm living again. And I have no intention where my life is leading me. All I know is I have desires, and I'm going to continue to grow, and things are going to change. That's what life is, constant change, constant. With energy, man, energy just doesn't float around. It's constantly changing. I hope it helps anybody. It's for me, really. A little time box. So when I look through all my videos, I'll remember what I did, my milestones. Goodbye.